Before sailing on P&O Azura, we saw that a lot of people mentioned how she is looking her age.
And this is what members of Cruise Critic had to say. Worst cruise ship ever.
Tired and old.
First and last ever P&O cruise.
Do we agree? Well, not entirely, but more about that later.
We took a week-long cruise around the Canary Islands, and during this time we experienced a lot of ship movement.
As we were sailing on the Atlantic Ocean, we were kind of expecting it.
There are some lovely spaces on this ship. The Atrium and Java had a classic aesthetic that reminded us of more traditional ships, much different to Iona.
Then there was the Blue Bar. This had a more fresh feel, where live music was played nightly by a pianist. But Brodie's has to be our favourite venue on board, which is also a multiple P&O ships.
It has that classic pub vibe, which never gets old.
And we're here for it.
And if you fancy a flutter, inside Brodie's there's also a small casino, so feel free to spread your wings and gamble away.
We don't really gamble, so we didn't spend a lot of time here. We've only ever gambled on one ship, and we lost the £20 and ran away.
We also enjoyed spending time in the Planet Bar, which has amazing views of the back of the ship. Not quite the crow's nest on Iona, but it was quiet, and you could always find a seat.
Yes, you could find a seat very easy. However, there were a couple of occasions that we noticed where there was a passenger who kept putting their bare feet on the seats. I'm sorry, that's disgusting.
Talking about feet, if you enjoy a good pampering, then there is a spa on board for an extra charge. Although we didn't actually use it, so we can't tell you about our experience, unfortunately.
Oh!
By the way, I'm Amy.
And I'm Nathan.
And together
we are Namey Does Cruising.
We sounded so lame.
Just two idiots who release cruise-related content weekly, from cruising vlogs, tours, honest reviews, and talking you through the cruising process.
Well, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, well, you know where the button is.
Well, you're a pirate.
Yes, I am. Even though we liked the design of the Manhattan, which was the late night venue,
with its light blue neon lights and photos of New York on the walls.
it definitely gives us 90 vibes. That's 70s, not 90s, isn't it?
Not that there's anything wrong with that, although the wooden dance floor felt a little out of place. It's almost like it was copied and pasted from a different venue.
I think someone might be playing The Sims on this ship, just saying. Let us know in the comments if you think she looks her age. Now, Malabar was a strange one. We couldn't work out if we loved or hated it. It had a mixture of Asian themed with random palm trees hanging about. And when we first arrived, I remember us being really excited and thinking it was a really fun, cool looking venue. But considering that some of the furniture looked like it was lacking care and attention, it made us feel really sad.
The theatre was very classical in style, the typical colours that you would find in a theatre. And as theatre freaks, we loved it. We thought the theatre looked much more well kept than the majority of other venues on board.
The places where you felt poor Azura's aged the most was in some of the outdoor spaces.
Well, actually, we assumed she was a bit older.
There were actually 4 swimming pools on board Azura. First of all, there was the Oasis pool on deck 16. This was located near the gym and was for adults only.
On deck 15, there was the Aqua pool, which also had a sea screen where you could chill and watch movies from the hot tub, or sometimes there was movies playing in the evenings.
A little further down from the Aqua pool on deck 15, you had the Coral pool. Now this is the main pool deck, and where we spent most of our time on board our cruise.
The aft of the ship, there was the Terrace pool. This was directly behind the buffet and was actually quite a chilled place to go. The beige paint choice paired with the old style darkened wood really made us feel like we were walking into the past. And when I say past, I'm talking about the 60s here.
And don't get us started on the cabin interiors, especially Nick's single inside cabin. It was like a walk into the past. But we won't go into too much detail, as we do already have our cabin tour video out, and Nick's single inside cabin tour will be on its way to you in a few weeks.
If you're the type of cruiser who loves the classic cruise ship feel, then maybe this is a good thing. However, it wasn't just the aesthetics, but how tired she was, as well as not being very well kept.
We were continuously finding out of order signs around the ship, and some of the signs had clearly been there for a long time. In addition to this, wallpaper was peeling off in the hallways, and there was water damage on some of the carpets.
And this machine was on throughout our entire cruise trying to dry the carpets.
And if you're gym goers like we are on a cruise, then you might be a bit disappointed with the condition of some of the gym equipment on board.
Nothing that would not make us come back on her, but just enough to notice, you know.
In places, we didn't even feel like she was a classic ship, but just old and neglected. She made us feel like she was ready for retirement.
So, do we think she looks her age?
P&O Azura was built in 2010, and after sailing on her, we googled her age, and we were gobsmacked.
What? Nothing, sorry, I just startled myself.
She is under the age of 14, barely a teenager. She looks a lot older. Not my favourite ship I've ever been on. She's a bit tired. Bless her. I think she needs a bit of TLC. Just some of the stuff looks a bit 80s or 60s, I don't know. I wasn't born then, sorry.
We sailed on ships from the 90s, such as on Marella and Ambassador, that have been in much better shape than Azura. Though, in Azura's defence, they have had more recent refits than her.
She had a refurb. She could be a great ship.
Well, it's funny you should say that.
But we're really happy to report that she is getting a refit in March 2025.
Yay!
Her last one was due in 2020, but it was postponed because of, you know what?
The dreaded C word.
Prepare to invade!
Now, I know you're probably sat there thinking that we're having a little bit of a moan about Azura and that we hated our time on her, but this couldn't be further from the truth.
Every cruise has its positives and negatives, and we are yet to experience the perfect cruise, although Celebrity Edge did come pretty damn close.
We had an absolutely wonderful cruise on Azura, sailing around the Canary Islands. From seeing experiments at active volcanoes, exploring the ports, drinking way too much, and simply chilling by the pool. And we are taking you on the journey with us.
So please make sure that you're subscribed to our channel and go over to this video next for our first vlog, where we had quite a stressful embarkation experience.
This will go, arr, yes.
Arr.